should we hit work up here? Alright, man. So you put these headphones on, and then you'll...
Left, okay.
Yeah, then you'll just hit the space bar, and
Cool.
we'll just return to the T.
Perfect.
So, feeling alright?
Yeah, feeling good.
Alright, welcome to the window.
Thanks. All right, try not to talk through this like an elderly black woman at the Magic Johnson Theater.
First time I met Keith was in school. He was the dude who would always hog the TV.
Got that mustache.
Watching it for hours and hours. It would be him and a bunch of other people just watching. It's I want to play Smash Bros. Nobody wants to watch Buffy for 6 hours, man. Can we do something else?
Probably could quote every superhero
Micah!
comic book and everything. For me, I wasn't too much into that, but of course, being friends, we would always talk about it and everything.
He's definitely more of a Spider-Man aficionado than I am. I think I lean a little bit more towards Batman knowledge, although he'll fight me on that sometimes.
He's unexpected,
Chantal.
super creative, very sensitive.
If there were a word that combines compassion and courage, he's that guy.
He'll show up if we're having movie night at my apartment. He'll show up with freshly baked cookies. I'm doing good to get the cake out of a box set and put it in a pan, and he shows up with here, these are pumpkin spice fluffy cookies for you. What?
It's sort of like a noise that's somewhere between humming and talking to himself when he's getting his brain situated for settling into the rest of his routine for the day.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he's doing it at the same time I'm doing it.
Got that little
Oh, wow.
shuffle and that kind of there's that sweet guy smile.
Sometimes if he doesn't understand something, he'll just what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. How did this? I'm just
He's always trying to make people laugh. That was Keith's thing. No matter what was going on in his life, he always wanted other people to laugh.
He's always finding ways to cheer somebody else up and bring everybody else higher. He's created a strong support system. We all adore him because of how much he's there for us.
It was hard when he was diagnosed with the blood cancer, actually plasma cancer. And I went out to his apartment to get a bead on how he was doing, and he had lost a lot of weight.
My first personal experience was, denial of, is this true? I mean, gosh, he's 20-something years old. Is that real? Is it, does this really happen? And then I kept thinking, well, maybe it was a misdiagnosis. Maybe they need to find something else. They need to keep looking.
Man, we never talk about it really.
You hear about people getting cancer all the time. You see it on TV, and you don't think about how it affects people that you love and how much pain they're in. I really had no idea.
Because you can't really talk about your cancer a whole lot to people because first of all, people are ooh, cancer, God, thank God it's not me. And also it's, you just don't want to think about it too much.
When he's in a good headspace, he's willing to share about it, but he doesn't go out of his way to talk about it. It took me a while to sometimes even pick up on idiosyncrasies in the way he talks, to think that there might be something not off, but mellow, sad.
Oh man, I don't think I ever told him this, but there's times where if I don't hear from him, I'll stalk his Facebook just to see that he's having activities. So I'm I just want to make sure that he's okay, that he's alive, and things are happening.
There was a moment where he was going through this new treatment for the cancer, and he came over to my apartment, and we were watching a movie, and then I heard this thud in my hallway, and he had collapsed in my hallway. And I didn't know what to do because I had told him, I'm we need a code word of when you really need to go to the hospital. And he wasn't saying it, and he was just curled up in a ball on the floor, and I just put my arms around him, and I have never felt more helpless. And luckily that hasn't happened since, but it was just, it made it real for me. So.
The best thing to do is just be there.
Sometimes
She was there.
he will like send me a message, like if we were supposed to hang out or something, saying that he's sick or that he doesn't feel well. And he'll be like, maybe it'll just pass, or I might have to go to the doctors in the morning. And sometimes it's like scary because I'm like, this might be like, this could be like it, you know? Like whenever there's somebody you love in pain, it's, you feel it too. And you also just want them to know that like, it's not hard for you to be there. Like it's not a burden.
It was one of the times he was sick. You know, he curled up with a blanket, didn't really move that much. And we talked about it a little bit, and he expressed some frustrations. The closest I've ever seen him come to sounding defeated. And that was eye-opening because it was something that I never really associated with how he approached it. When someone that awesome and that strong gives up, what are the rest of us supposed to do?
There's this sense of and I think we have it within us when we've experienced like trauma or pain of just or being rejected. There's this, you almost kind of preempt it when you meet someone who you care about, whether it be platonic or romantic, and you're like, I'm pushing you away. And I think there's times where I think he's done that to me, where he's said things that almost felt like, wow, he doesn't want me in his life. And I hope he can not do that anymore.
Yeah, defense mechanisms.
I think those who want to be there and who are actively like in his life, they do want to be there. It's not because they feel guilty that they have to be there, or like I would be a bad person if I'm not there. Like they literally want to be there.
I think the thing that I do the most is just try and help offer distractions. Find a way to take off his mind if there's dark thoughts that I can pick up on. So that he doesn't have to think about it alone, or that he can take a deep breath and not have to face it whenever he's not ready to.
I think he doesn't understand like how talented he is. Like every time I read something that he's written or watch like his web series, I'm just always kind of like in awe. He like does this stuff with like almost no money, and he's just incredibly talented.
He's been God's piñata over here, and he's still making material. So, you know, yeah, I was kind of God's piñata for a while, but Keith Walker is doing it.
You know, it's like you take every day, and I used to complain all the time about like, oh, I've got to go to work, like it was just a terrible day, it was awful. And then I became really good friends with Keith, and it's like, you know, my day is not awful. I'm just like, I'm here, but I don't have to worry about stuff like everything that he goes through. And he still accomplishes so much. Like he can still outrun me at the gym. So I'm never going to the gym with him again.
Nobody ever wants to go to the gym with me. Nobody ever wants to go.
He's made me a better person.
I think he taught me a lot of what being human means. It's a compilation of not being perfect, but also being very caring and showing like the importance of reaching out to people and getting help when you need it.
I think I'd say that I'm an optimist for other people and a cynic more for myself. and Keith refuses to let me be too down. He's always trying to make sure that I'm giving myself credit and being strong for my own sake. And that's something I probably would have taken a lot longer to get to if I hadn't been living with him.
Some of the choices that I've made that have been good for me, I don't think I would have made had I not known Keith. I think a lot of things we've talked about or he's like encouraged me to do has helped me to find more of my worth.
When are you worried, the most worried?
I don't worry about him the way I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't worry about him the way I used to because I think he has become such a remarkable man.
Sweet.
He's a remarkable man.
What I wish for you, Keith, is peace. Ultimately, like whatever it takes for you to just like, just walk in your day-to-day life and just feel like everything's cool, or everything's going to be okay. Like for you to be able to feel that, like that would be my ultimate hope for you.
I wish only the best for Keith Walker because that man works so hard. He deserves everything, absolutely, that he wants. I promise I'll do the dishes when I get home after work tonight. Sorry.
I appreciate that you're my Uncle Keith to Ben and Gracie, and Ben has your picture right next to his bed, and he'll say it every once in a while. He's ready to FaceTime his Uncle Keith, and you're always just the happiest person to him and everything. I really appreciate that.
There's a lot of different ways to love, and I always know that Keith is going to be there no matter what. And
Don't you do it, Claire. Don't you make me cry.
And I appreciate that. And sorry, can I take it?
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Thanks.
You can let go of the cancer. You've got other stories. It's a chapter. You might have the chapter a couple of times in the book, but you have other stories.
Keith, man, you're my brother, and you're adopted in my family, and I love you, man, and I'm so grateful for you, and so grateful for your advice and your wisdom, our rivalries when we play video games, and the smart stuff we talk about, and beating your ass in board games.
Okay, all right, calm
very
down.
grateful for you, man.
Okay.
I'm just really grateful for our relationship, and I just want you to be happy, man.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot. That is a lot. It's good to. I'm glad I did this time of year. It's really rough for me, usually. Really, really rough. The holidays and my birthday. It's usually this time of year where I feel really suicidal, and so I work so hard to try to not feel toxic shame, and so it's nice to, yes, it's very nice to see and to hear those voices, and yeah. It's funny, one of my teachers used to always tell me to breathe in compliments. I'm not sure if I breathed in anything. It feels nice. It feels nice. Love. That was a lot of love. A lot of love. It's nice to know that. It's nice to know that I'm loved. It's nice to know. Yeah.